Hello, my friends, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Realm News. I am your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in realm and expands your mind one block at a time. I hope you are all ready for a brand new episode. Unfortunately, it is going to be a wee bit short this week due to my being simply very busy. In a good way. I cannot complain about it at all. I have been busy interviewing new guests for the show and setting up future guests that will be coming on. Also, I am writing this the same week that the 2025 Spring Minecraft Live is releasing, and I was a guest on another podcast called Idle Ride this week, where we discussed episode 2 of the famous series adapted from the famous TV show series, I meant to say, adapted from the series of novellas called Silo. I had a ton of fun being a part of that, and I can't wait to be a guest again on their show. But as you can see, it didn't leave much time for Realm News this week. I vowed to never miss a week, though, so I will be providing you with the best that I can do with the time given to me. Today, we will be discussing the Minecraft Hoe. Yes, the tool that helps you farm. It is an extremely important tool, and I want to highlight it this week. It is the perfect tool for a shorter episode. I will tell you all about the history of the Minecraft Hoe and its uses. Not only is the hoe important in Minecraft, but it has been essential for human societies for eons. It is one of the oldest farming tools to ever be crafted by humans. So I would like to tell you the history of the hoe in relation to us humans today as our link into the real. This, of course, all comes right after our beloved poll time. Let's start the show, folks. It's poll time! Thank you, Maestro, for that lovely, lovely tune. Yes, my friends, we are finally in poll time, where I read to you the feedback that I received from the Minecraft community. I post a weekly poll that can be found at Realm News' Reddit account. Go check it out and participate in it. This week, I had a smaller turnout for this poll. Only a total of 18 votes, but hey, we have had smaller turnouts and we got by just fine. I'll go ahead and read to you all what I posted to the community. Quote, "Hello crafters, it is poll time. I'm curious, do you tame wolves?" Simple question this week. I have tamed a few, and I have found myself lately not leaving without one. However, I do not enjoy that they still get lost and cannot keep up with my minecart or other forms of transportation. But I love the armadillo wolf armor and their companionship. What about you? Do you tame wolves? End quote. I was very curious about how people use them, and they did. I have had a pet wolf in my 2-year-old world since the beginning. He is sitting in Seatown, and I do not take him with me anywhere because I do not want to lose him like so many other wolves I have had in the overworld. I provided 2 options for this poll, a simple yes or no. I am proud to announce that the winner of this week's poll, I'm just going to jump right into it, is the yes group with 13 votes or 72.22% of the votes, a blowout. The no group only had 5 votes. I can see why people have tamed wolves. They keep you company and help defend you when under attack. They are very handy, and since they created the wolf armor, or the wolf variety last year, sorry, not armor, but the variety last year, it has become much more entertaining to catch the one you want. I voted for the yes group. But I must say that the tamed wolf mechanics are not the best. I still have them hang up in trees, get caught in tunnels, or just simply fall behind and get lost. I actually just rediscovered one of my long-lost wolves in the middle of what I thought was a brand new biome. It turned out that I had traversed right through there before and lost my wolf, I guess. I didn't put any markers out, so I thought it was a brand new area. But nope. I came across a wolf with the collar around its neck, and I was like, wow, I forgot I came through this way. It was a great reunion to have him back, but That is also the reason I keep my original dog sitting in one spot. I don't want to lose him. All in all, I have around 10 wolves in my overworld sitting in various forts and towns. I would like to now move on to comments left by members of the Realm News subreddit and other subreddits where I posted this on. I will start with Cream Easy 5040. They say, quote, I got a wolf in my world because at some point one was fighting a skeleton in the area I was building and he was super low on health, so I tamed and saved him. He stayed with me in this area until I finished the project and is now in my base. I also got the new variants when they got in game. I am still too scared to bring them on adventures, but I do once in a while. Smiley face, end quote. I love that entire comment. It is always a delight to hear a story behind how you acquired your pet wolf, and this was a very interesting one. That is really cool that a natural skirmish between a wolf and a skeleton broke out in your building area, and the wolf protected you. I always think it's neat to see these natural battles in the overworld carry out as you do your business, as you're just doing your thing, and you just see wolves attacking sheep, for example, as you're cutting wood, in the woods, and you just see a random battle, or a chase, I should say. It's not really a battle because the sheep is going to die. But that was nice of you to heal it afterwards. I'm just going to say that. Very nice of you. I suppose you kind of owed it that health for protecting you from the skeleton, but hey, that's awesome. You got a wolf out of it, and a really cool story. I can see why you wouldn't want to risk taking it on adventures with you. I am extremely protective of my original wolf, as I've just mentioned. It has never been out in the wild with me, my original. I know what it is like to lose wolves, and it is rather sad. I told you that I just came across one in my long lost world or biome I traversed through and found my old companion. So, yeah, that was interesting. I've lost many wolves multiple times. It was out in a newly discovered region in my realm, and I had forgotten to write down the coordinates to my base that was close to there, and I got killed by a creeper, and I lost a wolf a long time ago. This is a different story. I was in a different part of my world, and I just got blown up, and upon my death, as the camera panned out, as it does before, explaining that you died, as it zooms out, and then it tells you your explanation, like blown up by a creeper. I could see my dog still standing near my pile of XP orbs and items that I was carrying. And unfortunately, I had already broken down my bed from my temporary shelter that night before that I stayed in. And I woke up and broke that bed that morning, and I got blown up like pretty much immediately outside that door. It was just a few seconds after I woke up. So after I got obliterated, you know how you get sent back to another bed? Well, I went back to a bed that was located in Seatown, which is an extremely far distance from wherever I died. I don't know where it was. I didn't write those coordinates down. So I have another wolf out there in a lost area in my world that I hope I come across it again one day like I did with that other wolf. So who knows? Anyways, I hope that you keep your wolves safe, and thank you very much for that comment, my friend. Let's move on to the next comment. This one is by a familiar guest to Realm News, Nightstake, who says, quote, if I find one in the wilds on the server I play on, I'll only tame it if I know there's some nearby home or village in the area where I can leave it at. I've seen too many tamed wolves wandering aimlessly throughout my travels. It doesn't sit right with me, end quote. Man, that is crazy that you come upon so many random wolves out there on that server. And I did ask him about this. I didn't write it down in my notes, but I remember Nightstake told me a reason, or his hypothesis behind this is that a lot of the time there's lag in this server, and that might be a reason why the wolf gets left behind from their master. So that's the reasoning behind so many abandoned wolves on that specific server, or according to Nightstake. That's how he explained it to me. Maybe I missed a little bit there, but that's the general consensus on that. And you must realize that Nightstake plays on the oldest SMP server in the world. I just want to let you know that. So I can only imagine how many people have come and gone with pet wolves since the year 2010. That would be sad to see, though. That is awfully nice of you, Night Steak, to take them back to civilization. Maybe someone in town will adopt them or take care of them. That is rather depressing to think of them out in the wilderness, abandoned. Thank you, Night Steak, for that comment and for rescuing the abandoned wolves. Next, I have a comment from solar_fish55 who says, quote, "If I have bones and sometimes," end quote. Well, that is a straightforward and to the point statement, and I totally forgot to make sometimes an option for this poll. I typically have a neutral option. Well, most of the time I do. I totally get that, solar_fish55. I have several tamed wolves, but that is through a course of 2.5 years. So I have naturally accumulated several wolves over time. I appreciate your comment very much, my friend, and I wish you happy crafting. I hope to hear more comments from you in the future. You all can make comments as well by going to r/R realm N news on Reddit. All one word, r/realm news, R, N on Reddit, and become a member there. I'm actually somewhat active in Reddit, so go be a member. I post some cool stuff there in the Realm News Reddit page. I want to go ahead and thank everyone again for taking their time to vote on this poll, and to those who contributed comments. You always have the most amazing comments, and I couldn't ask for a more engaging community. I am a very fortunate host. Thank you all. With that said, I would like to now transition us into the next portion of the show. The portion of the show is called The Realm, and it is where I introduce you to the real world version of the topic that I am discussing, which is the hoe. We will be traveling very far back in time, which is not shocking for this show. So buckle up and get ready to jump into our portal that serves as a time machine, and let us visit the advent of the agricultural hoe. We have now made our transition over to the real world, where we are going to take a deep dive into the ancient agricultural tool called the hoe. I would like to start with a simple definition of the hoe, according to Britannica.com. Quote, "A hoe is one of the oldest agricultural tools, consisting of a blade set at a right angle to a long handle. The modern hoe typically has a metal blade and a wooden handle. Historically, hoes had stone or wooden blades. They are primarily used in gardening and horticulture to loosen soil and chop weeds, although they have largely been replaced in large-scale agriculture by plows and harrows." End quote. Hopefully that paints a picture of the hoe in case you haven't ever seen one, but that would be rather hard to believe, especially if you're playing Minecraft. It makes sense to me that the hoe would start off made of wood and then evolve through stone before being crafted out of iron. But I had to ask myself, what did we use before the hoe? I found out that a couple of tools predate the hoe, which I would like to tell you about: the mattock and the digging stick. I will start with the mattock. The mattock is a tool similar to a pickaxe. It has a long handle with a stout, robust head and a vertical axe blade. It's like an axe. It's vertical. It's up and down, with a horizontal adze on the other side of it. An adze, I described to you in like a long ago episode, was used for woodwork, and it kind of looks like a hoe. It's horizontal, not vertical. It's just like an axe blade, except for horizontal, and it has a curve to it. It's almost like a pick, but flat, like a hoe. The adze part is just, it's the hoe part of this pickaxe. It's weird. It has two different functions. It's really useful. We still use them today. And this supposedly predated the hoe, and the mattock was along with the digging stick as a predecessor to the hoe. I found an interesting article over the digging stick, by the way. It's found on OregonHistoryProject.org. It explains that the digging stick has been around since before written records, which makes sense. It's unknowable to even give an approximation to how old it is, the advent of the digging stick, which It's just a stick, right? It's probably safe to say that this is probably one of the earliest agricultural tools to have been created by humans. People who make digging sticks will usually fire harden the wood in order to give it more durability. And these sticks are usually slightly bowed, I assume to give it extra leverage and for prying at the earth or roots more effectively. The tip of the stick was usually sharpened at an angle as well and may have had a weighted stone on the end of it to help break the earth as you're tapping down or hitting down on the earth. The sticks were and still are made to be around 2 to 3 feet long, which in meters is 0.61 to 0.91 meters for my metric listeners out there. Moving toward the top of the stick, where the hands would go, they would typically or sometimes add bone or antler or even another stick there to serve as a grip, kind of like a horizontal handle to it, in order to break the earth apart much easier. This article specifically describes how Native Americans in the Columbian Plateau, a region that spreads through Oregon, Idaho, and Washington states, used the digging stick to pull up a variety of edible roots such as balsam root, bitter root, camas, and biscuit root. I thought that was all very interesting. Those are two tools that predate the hoe. I'd like to now tell you about a specific type of hoe that comes from the Roman era. It is called a sarculum. The sarculum is an ancient Roman hoe. The word itself is Latin and derives from the verb sarire, which means to hoe or weed. The sarculum or Roman hoe has a very common device found throughout the empire. In fact, I will provide you with the link of a recreated sarculum found at smith.edu. The Romans used two types of hoes, the light sarculum and heavy sarculum. The light hoe was used primarily to aerate the crop soil, separate plants, and to keep weeds from growing rampant. The heavy sarculum was used for, more heavy work. It was used in hilly, rocky country to turn the soil over and break it apart. Pliny the Elder in the 1st century CE recorded these distinct uses. They would also be used to break up clumps of dirt left behind from plows. This Roman type of hoe is considered a gooseneck hoe and is still widely used today around the world. A fun fact is that a bronze hoe was discovered in the Caucasus region, which is Russia, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Turkey, and Iran today. This bronze hoe is dated to be from around 2000 BCE. This fits the Bronze Age's timeline, which lasted between 3300 BCE to 1200 BCE, according to study.com. That's extremely old, folks. I have been a huge proponent of bronze or copper becoming a metal used to crafting tools, weapons, and armor in Minecraft for a long time. I doubt that'll ever happen, but I think it would just be logical. Speaking of Minecraft, I would like to now take you to the realm segment of the episode and explore everything there is to know about the Minecraft hoe. I hope you all enjoyed that brief history of the agricultural hoe and learning about the Roman sarculum. Let's move on to the realm. We are now in the realm, my friends. I hope you made that transition over in one piece. I know the real to realm portal can be a little turbulent at times. Count to see if you have all your fingers and toes and if you are all intact. Then let's proceed on with the Minecraft tool called the hoe. The hoe, according to Minecraft Wiki, is, quote, is a tool that can quickly break skulk and certain plant-related blocks. Hoes also have unique interactions with dirt-related blocks and can turn them into farmland or regular dirt blocks, end quote. With that said, I would like to start with the history of this overworld tool. The hoe was first introduced to us in a very important update that occurred 15 years ago. Java Edition InDev 2010-0206-2034, which is technically lost to history, but was released on February 6, 2010. Brought in a slew of important features into Minecraft, such as farmland, which finally showed us how to grow crops, or allowed us the ability to do so. Fun fact, in this InDev, farmland could become hydrated with water being near it, or even with lava. Yes, lava. I guess you could use lava to make the farmland hydrated and grow crops. Also, in this stage of development, there were these blocks called water spawner and lava spawner blocks. This block would continuously emit flowing lava or water from all four exposed sides. Isn't that just fascinating, folks? Besides farmland, wheat crops were added and would grow in 8 stages before dropping wheat or seeds when broken. Bread was added and would restore 5 health points when ate. Seeds were obtainable by using a hoe on a grass block. Wheat was also added, which was used to craft bread. And finally, the hoe, which was added in order to create farmland on dirt blocks and to collect seeds by using it on grass blocks. This was essentially the farming update. Before this, we did not have farming. Before I jump back into the hoe, this update also added 33 new splashes to the homepage and 6 new crafting recipes, which brought the total amount of recipes to 43 in total. I found this InDev update to be extremely vital to the game of Minecraft. What would it be like if we did not have farming and all that goes along with it? Like making bread and breeding mobs with crops. It would be a very much different game. Now, moving back to our subject. The hoe was the first overworld farming tool to be added, and when it was added to Minecraft, it came in 5 varieties: wood, stone, iron, gold, and a diamond hoe. Sound familiar? It should, because we can craft the hoe out of the same 5 materials today, except we now have the netherite hoe, which gives us now 6 variations. A fun fact about the golden hoe is that when it was first introduced to the game, it had a durability of 513. That decreased down to 65, which was the level of stone tools in Java Edition Alpha on August 20th, 2010. Besides that, the hoe has not changed that much. It has had a few retexture changes throughout the years, and that's pretty much it. Or that is all that is worth mentioning from the history pages. Let me tell you now how you can craft one. To craft a hoe, it's fairly easy and straightforward. All you need are 2 sticks and 2 ingots or blocks of what you want the hoe to be made out of, depending on how durable you want it to be. For example, if you want to make a wood hoe, then you would take 2 sticks and 2 planks of any wood and craft them together on the crafting table. Et voila, you have a wood hoe. Same with a stone hoe. You just take 2 sticks and 2 stones, such as cobblestone, granite, diorite, etc. of your choice, and craft them on the crafting table. Iron requires 2 sticks plus 2 iron ingots. Gold, 2 sticks plus 2 gold ingots. Diamond, 2 sticks plus 2 diamonds. And netherite, well, netherite is a different beast altogether. It requires a netherite upgrade smithing template plus a diamond hoe and a netherite ingot. It is very expensive, and I don't think it's worth all that material for a simple hoe. That's just my opinion, though. Now that we have one of either 6 variations of that hoe crafted, allow me to tell you what you can do with it. In a Minecraft.wiki quote that I read, it mentioned that the hoe is a good tool for using to break apart vegetation and dirt blocks. Well, it wasn't lying. You can use the hoe to efficiently collect vegetation and dirt blocks. I would like to read off a few of those overworld items that the hoe is used for. I will read off the block name and then tell you how long in seconds it takes for it to break with a wood hoe. All these times are a fraction of a second. Let's begin. Moss block, 0.05 seconds. A moss carpet, 0.05 seconds. Pale moss block, 0.05. Pale moss carpet, 0.05. Leaves, 0.05. Skulk, 0.05. Skulk vein, 0.05. Hay bale, 0.15. Target, 0.15. And dried kelp block, 0.4 seconds. Each time you break one of these blocks that I listed off here, it will decrease the hoe's durability by 1 point. Also, those were only 10 blocks that I used as examples there. The hoe in total is great for breaking 18 different blocks in total. And I am sure that list will grow as time goes by. And as developers keep adding new items and mobs, and you know how they just keep adding things. Besides harvesting blocks, the hoe is really meant to scrape the Minecraft soil. Personally, whenever I think of the hoe, I think of gardens and tilling the soil in order to plant new crops. It turns out that I'm not too far off from that notion. The Minecraft hoe is designed to create farmland so you can plant crops. It is the only way to plant crops. You just take your hoe and tap it on a grass block and it will render it into a piece of farmland, ready to be hydrated with a water source and then seeded with your crop of choice. However, it does not only convert grass blocks into arable farmland, it can also turn coarse dirt blocks and rooted dirt blocks into regular dirt, which then can be turned into farmland with an additional strike with the hoe. It's an extra step, but it's realistic. It mimics how you must work the land in the real world in order to produce any plants or crops. By the way, I had to look up what a rooted dirt block was. I had no idea that existed in the overworld. Never, not until I did the research. Thankfully, Minecraft.wiki exists. The rooted dirt block is a decorative block that can be rendered into a mud block or even a path block with a shovel. It is found under azalea trees directly underneath the base of the tree's trunk. It comes in 5x5 patches under it. If bone meal is applied to the rooted dirt block, and if there's space underneath that said block, well, there's a chance of roots growing, which are aptly called hanging roots. Hanging roots are primarily used for decoration as well, but can be placed in a composter with a 30% chance of raising it up one level. They can be placed underneath blocks for decor purposes. I think it is really intriguing that they gave the azalea tree its own soil and root system. You don't see that with other trees in the game. Or perhaps we do and I'm just oblivious to it. Now moving on, there's a caveat to which soil the hoe can be used on. The hoe will not work on converting mycelium block or podzol into dirt. You will have to take a different approach if you want these to become dirt blocks. First, you will have to use a shovel on them and make them into a dirt path, and then take a hoe to it, and then it will finally convert that into a dirt block. It's a bit of a process, but it's doable. The nice thing about tilling dirt blocks into farmland is that it takes no time at all. It is instantaneous. It'll just, bam, voila, block into farmland. Very simple, one click, one tap on your device, and you have farmland. I want to tell you to keep a lookout on Realm News' Patreon. I am thinking about doing a short bonus episode explaining Minecraft farmland, or even a small episode over the said azalea tree. It will probably just be a 10 to 15 minute episode, but you'll find it there. Moving on. I should mention that you cannot hoe farmland if there is a block over it. That may sound obvious, but it's worth mentioning. This includes snow layers and torches. If these are on top of a grass or a dirt block, then the hoe won't work. You will first have to remove the object that is on top of the desired block. Also, no matter the block that you are tilling, it will take one durability point away from that hoe when you're using it. No matter the material of the hoe, wood hoe or netherite hoe, it will reduce its durability by 1 point. I made a chart of the hoe's durability based off the material it's made out of. I'll post it on my Patreon's newsletter for you to check out. I'll go ahead and read it off to you right now, though. And I have it for both versions, Java and Bedrock right here. It's titled Hoe Type Durability Points. Okay, I'll start with Java Edition. The wood gets 59. Well, actually, I'm just going to do Java Bedrock, okay? So, wood, Java 59, Bedrock, 60 points. Stone, 131, 132. Iron, 250, 251. Golden, 32, 33. Diamond, now watch this, 1,561, 1,562. And netherite, 2,031. And for bedrock, 2,032. It looks like bedrock just gets one additional point, which is awfully weird. Why did they do that? Oh, we just got to be better than Java by 1 point. Some developer really had some beef with a Java developer and was like, you know what? I'm going to make this hoe 1 point better than Java. Anyways, the durability jumps significantly from the iron to diamond, as I mentioned. The iron, I'm just going to read off the bedrock, was 251, and then you go diamond, 1,562 points. That's a huge difference. In fact, that's 1,311 difference in bedrock. Actually, 1,311. Now, I would like to tell you about using the hoe as a weapon. You may find yourself in a pinch, and this is the only thing you have on hand. The hoe is not meant to be a weapon, and that is seen in its rather meager damage it causes to enemies or whatever you're targeting. Every time you attack a mob with a hoe, it will decrease its durability by 2 points instead of 1 point when you're using it properly. And if you are playing in Java Edition, then you may as well be using your bare hands. No, quite literally. It has the same amount of damage, which is half a heart or 1 health point of damage. Not very effective at all, folks. But it also depends on what your hoe is made out of. And if you are playing on bedrock, the hoe has the same equivalence of damage as a pickaxe. Allow me to read off the damage they deal in bedrock. By the way, they have no cooldown between attacks in Bedrock Edition. I will read to you the type of material, the attack damage, then lifetime damage it has. Let's start here with the wooden hoe. Attack damage, 3 health points. Lifetime damage, 40. Wait. I'm not even going to read your lifetime damage because I didn't really write that down. But the wooden hoe, the attack damage is 3 health points. Gold, 3 health points. Stone, 4 health points, jumps up by 1. Iron jumps up by another, which makes it 5 health points. Then it jumps up another to the diamond, 6 health points. And then ending at 7 health points with netherite. To me, that's interesting to see how the hoe's damage literally doubles from wood to diamond, but that makes sense. But to put that in comparison to a true weapon, let's look at the sword real quick, according to Minecraft.wiki. And this is all Bedrock Edition sword attack damage. The attack damage of a wooden sword is 5 health points. Compare that to the hoe, which is 3. And then you go to the gold sword, which is 5 health points. The hoe is still 3. And then you go to stone sword, 6 health points. Hoe 4. And then you go 7 with iron sword, 5 for the hoe. 8 health points, diamond sword, 6 for the hoe, 9 health points for the netherite sword, 7 for the hoe. So it starts to just be a 2-point difference. So you could use the hoe to defend yourself somewhat effectively. But it's not meant to bludgeon your enemies. It's meant to be farmed with. But I must say that the hoe has a bit of a bite, more than I would have originally guessed. Now, if you become rather attached to your tilling or killing device and you just can't bear to see it break from overuse, well, I have good news. You don't have to worry about that no longer. Not as long as you have an anvil or 2 of the same type of hoes. On an anvil, all you need is more of the same material the hoe is made out of and some XP. For example, to repair a wooden hoe on an anvil, you will need the damaged hoe and any type of wood planks. And then you patch it up until it's 100% repaired. It'll cost you some XP depending on how old the anvil is. The anvil is just an entirely unique block that abides by its own rules. I won't be explaining that to you today. Go check out Realm News' Iron episode if you want to learn more about the anvil. If you want to save experience points, you can combine 2 of the same type hoes on a crafting table or grindstone. This will combine the durability of both hoes and add an additional 5% durability points to the resulting hoe. This is a cheap but very efficient way to preserve a hoe that you have become attached to. Personally, I would only repair a hoe on an anvil if I wanted to keep it an enchantment. The anvil is perfect for repairing enchanted items. Otherwise, the enchantment is lost. Speaking of enchantments, I would like to tell you about those before concluding this week's episode. Just like a sword, a shovel, pickaxe, or any of the many other items that can be enchanted, the hoe can also be enchanted to make it more optimal. Allow me to tell you what sort of enchantments that can be placed on the hoe. Now, you can get the efficiency enchantment, which increases mining speed or the hoe's speed. You can get fortune, which increases the amount of drops when using it, or silk touch, which causes blocks to drop as themselves. Unbreaking grants a chance to negate durability consumption. Mending repairs the hoe when obtaining experience. And curse of vanishing, well, the hoe vanishes on death. Not dropping as an item at all. It's just gone forever, folks. I will have to say that the Silk Touch and Mending are my favorite 2 out of the 6 I listed off. I say Silk Touch because of its rarity as an enchantment and for its practicality. Also, I would have to say that the Mending enchantment has been incredibly rare in my world as well. So I see that as being a useful enchantment. They are all useful in their own right, though. Please write in and let me know which of these enchantments you prefer. I would love to hear from you. With that said, that wraps up what I have on this week's show. The hoe is a versatile tool that has become a generic item in both the overworld and the real world. Many of us just simply forget of its existence. If we do think about it, it is usually when we have it in our hands tilling the crops and then it goes right back into the chest. But this item has been around for many, many years and was arguably part of one of the most important updates to come to Minecraft, what I call the farming update. But it's technically the in-dev 2010-0206-2034. But who wants to say that mouthful? Sounds like R2-D2 spitting out code. The Minecraft hoe is an extremely useful tool for gathering overworld vegetation and for making farmland. Also, if need be, you can use it as a weapon to defend yourself. I do not recommend using it as your weapon of choice, but do what you like. As for the real-world history of the hoe, it has been an amazing agricultural instrument used by humans for thousands of years, and it was not the first instrument used to dig the ground. Humans have been meddling with the earth for eons. If it wasn't with a hoe, it was with a pointed stick. We have ditched the stick and have adopted the hoe for its usefulness and practicality, and we are still using them today. They have not changed much in design from the gooseneck Sarculum that the Romans were using. If it works, why change it, right? With that said, that's all I have for you today on the agricultural Minecraft and real-life hoe. I hope this has inspired you to go out into the overworld and to strike up a garden or clear a field for crops. Heck, better yet, go start a garden in real life. If you don't have space where you live, look into a community garden program or get some smaller plants for your apartment. Just ideas. With that said, I will see you all next time at Realm News. Happy crafting. The Dark Lord. Signing out. Hey Realm News fans, it's your host, The Dark Lord, putting the real in realm, expanding your mind one block at a time. You tune in every Tuesday and Thursday for Realm News Flash, and Realm News means everything to me. Love the show? Spread the word. Tell your friends, hit like, drop a comment on Spotify or Good Pods, or find me on X, Blue Sky, Reddit, or email via bio.link/Realm News. Want more? Join my Patreon at the Copper or Diamond tier for early episodes, bonus content, newsletters, and ebooks. Check it out at bio.link/Realm News. No pressure. Times are tough. Just keep listening, liking, and sharing. That's more than enough. Happy crafting, and catch you at the next Realm News.